Welcome to Buried Truth, where I tell the wildest stories in the Bible with a mouth that still needs Jesus. This isn't a polished Bible study. It's real, unfiltered, and a little bit messy. Ancient scandals, modern mess, and somehow grace still wins. So I know we've been through the early families of the Bible. We talked about Abraham, the one who received the promise of a son, which was Isaac, son of that promise, and then Jacob. Jacob was the one that was married to the two sisters, Leah and Rachel. And he loved Rachel and not Leah. Don't get me started on that because it's messy and it goes and it trickles all the way down whenever you play favorites. Just follow me. Most recently, we talked about Sodom and Gomorrah, what happens when a society loses its moral compass completely. So now we're moving forward in the story. So we're not going to be focusing on the patriarchs. We're looking at their kids. So because the promise didn't just pass through perfect people, it passed through a very, very messy family. So let me break it down for you. Jacob had two wives, then their two servants, and 13 children between them. Think about that. 13 kids with four baby mamas. Four. Okay. I don't know how he did it. Well, he didn't because he made a mess. His kids did some crazy stuff. Just follow me. They had 12 sons and one daughter. And I'm telling you, they didn't love each other. This isn't like a kumbaya, let's sit and have dinner together and just a loving family. No, they didn't like each other. No, 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 no. There was favorites. There was jealous. I mean, what else is going to happen when you have that many baby mamas and children? And then you already talk about you have favorites. It's a recipe for disaster is what it is. A recipe for disaster. It was built on sibling rivalry. Leah was the wife that Jacob didn't want. Rachel was the one he loved. So therefore, he only really loved her two boys. It's a thing, guys. It's just a mess. So think about it. You are in the midst of that. So you, as a child of this crazy ass family, it's like, where do you fit in? Because your dad it doesn't like you. He's irritated because he didn't love Leah. So all the kids that Leah had, he didn't like them because he was just like, whatever, I love. It's a mess. It is a mess. So this wasn't a holy household. Okay. It was complicated. Follow me. Now the brothers, not exactly role models. And so we go through the different siblings. We're going to end up to Joseph, but I'm going to back up a bit and go through the brothers. Reuben, the firstborn, guess what he does, you guys? Guess what he ends up doing? He sleeps with his father's concubine. He sleeps with his dad's concubine, meaning he dipped his stick where his daddy dipped his stick. Okay. I'm just being real. That's nasty. Anyway. And then, am I saying it right? Simeon and Levi. You want to know what happened with them? They had a sister named Dinah, I think is how you say her name. And this is awful, y'all. She was taken advantage of and assaulted by a man in the village or in the city. And their daddy doesn't do anything. Jacob just sits on his hands and knees and does not go apeshit and kill everybody. Because that's what I would do. I mean, I'm not a man, but anybody who hurts my children, you're going to die. I mean, take me to jail right now because I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. And Jacob just didn't do anything, right? So Simeon and Levi are like, you're going to let this man disgrace our daughter and not do anything. And you know what he does, you guys? Because back then, circumcision was part of being an Israelite. Like it was required. Okay. So they're in this city where the men aren't circumcised. So the man assaults their sister, and then he's like, Dad, I like her. Go get her for me. Excuse me? You already took advantage of me and now gotta marry your ass? Not today. But in Dinah's defense, Dinah, Jacob's daughter, once you're no longer a virgin, you are basically going to be a spinster because they wanted virgins. Okay. And that's still today in some of the cultures that like you have to be a virgin. Did you know that some of these girls have to go in and have surgery to re-virginize themselves? Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh, no. Okay, back to the story. Oh, in other cultures, they take off the girls, um, they like do a woman's circumcision so she can't enjoy it. You know what? It's already hard to enjoy sex, and then you want to take that from me? I mean, it's not hard now. You just gotta get the right partner. Okay. Anyway, don't listen. Don't listen. Screw. Let me go somewhere else. Anyway, so the father goes to Jacob, was like, "Hey, sorry, my son like did that to your daughter." He didn't even apologize. He did not say, "You know what, oopsie," because you want to know something. In that culture, this is what you did. You see something, you take it. Excuse me, not today. Thank goodness we live in the United States of America. I don't care if you like it or love it, but I'm telling you, these other cultures do not play around. So anyway, sorry guys. The father asked for what do you want? What do you want for us to so that my our kids can marry? And the brothers say, we want all the men circumcised. All of them. Of the whole entire city. And they do it. Ouch. First of all, ouch. That would hurt. I mean, when you give it to your kids when they're babies, yeah, it hurts and they got to heal it. But as a grown man going in and chopping that, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. So while these men are healing, they go and slaughter them, take them out of this world because they're like, you going to hurt my sister like that? Not today. Not on my watch. No, 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 no. Not on my watch. And then, and you know what their dad, Jacob, the God's chosen one, the one in the line of the Messiah. He didn't have it together. You know what he does? He's like, you have made me look bad. Excuse me? Excuse me? You did not protect your daughter and you could care less about her, and now she's going to have to not be able to get married and all the things that come with that, and you're more worried about yourself. Sounds about right, Jacob. But that's not where it stops. That's not where it stops. So then we talked about Judah before. And Judah, listen to that one. He ends up sleeping with his daughter-in-law, and then he's about to throw her to the wolves and basically burn her because she was pregnant in an indecent way. Turns out he was the daddy because he thought she was a prostitute. Go listen to it. And then he ends up saying, "Oh, she's more honest than I," because he did some he messed with her. He did her wrong, okay? And guess what? Through Judah and Tamar, the prostitute, well, she wasn't a prostitute. She was she was pretended to be a prostitute, sorry. That's the line of Jesus. So the reason I share these stories is because you think you have family drama. You think that you go no contact. It's all no contact. Oh, I'm all about no contact because if your parent does not respect and they keep treating you the same way, do what you got to do for your peace. Okay, because family is crazy, and just because they're a family does not mean they need to be in your life. Okay, that's just my own. Just take that with what you will. Okay, this family was crazy. Like, we need an episode of Real Housewives of Israel. Like that, I'll be eating that up. I'd be eating my popcorn. I probably have my own podcast about the show. I am here for it because they are a mess. And yet God keeps saying, it's not because of who you are, it's because of who I am, meaning God, because of who he is, and he's faithful and he does not turn his back on us. Okay. So that is the most important thing. And then eventually down the line, you're going to hear David. David messes it up. Like they all mess up. You wanna know something? When I used to read the Bible, like, I'd be like, "Okay," like, I didn't dig into it. I thought more like this was how you are supposed to behave, and I kinda miss all these, like, these little stories that were like, "Wait a minute, it's not about behaving, it's about that we can't behave." All of them messed up. All of them don't got their shit together. It's like, you know what? How not to live. That's what it is. It's like, don't do it like this. And yet, God. And that is the main point of it all. And yet, God. So I'm gonna go over Joseph. Well, we'll do that the next podcast, but I just want to build it up so you can see this. So imagine this is Joseph. So he's number 11 of the 12 boys. Okay. Imagine being a young boy in that house, seeing your older brothers cross some serious lines. But, in a way, I feel like Simeon and Levi, like, let's take them down, cut him up, So it's like, I get it. I get why they did it. Didn't make it right, but I get it. Um, and then they just make questionable choices. Like, this is just a family line again and again and again. They make some crazy decision. And then there's you, Joseph, and you're the favorite. Joseph was the son of Rachel, the woman Jacob loved most. So he treated him differently. He gave him a special robe, a visible daily reminder that he mattered more than the others. And the brothers saw it and hated him. Not just disliked him like, "Oh, there he goes in his robe. Look at him." They hated him and rolled their eyes to the point where they're willing for him to die to get rid of Joseph, okay? That comes later. And let me tell you something about this robe. You might have heard, I never saw the play, but it's like, Joseph, an amazing Technicolor robe or whatever it's called. So it was a robe of many colors. Now, I know today we see all kinds of fashion with different colors, but back in that time, it was so hard to find dye and it was so expensive. Like only like the richest of the rich could have it. Okay. Think beyond, luxury brand. Like think beyond like, okay, all the whatever luxury brand you can think of. It was beyond that. Like it was so extravagant. And he's walking around in that robe like, "Yes, I am Joseph. I'm the favorite." And then homie starts having some dreams. He starts having some dreams, and the dreams tell him, you need to read it because it's a lot deeper. I'm kind of just going over the surface of the dreams or of the story so you can kind of dig in because I want you to don't outsource your truth. That's the problem right now. We keep outsourcing truth and we don't know what the hell's going on. And then we wonder why. Because you need to have some sense and do your own, work and stop watching the news all the time because these people are out of control. They need some therapy. They need some medication. They need Jesus. So that is just wait till messy middle. Okay. So Joseph's having these dreams and he was like, you know what? Let me tell my brothers. Let me tell my whole entire family. I want to say he was probably like 17 when he around. I'm not sure exactly. But he's a teenager and he has a dreams where in the dreams where he interprets it is that one day his whole family's going to be bowing down to him. Okay, now first of all, you're the well, you're the baby of the family, but not the baby of the family because there's one more after him, but you are the favorite. You know you're their favorite. In that household, Joseph, your brothers just like straight up killed a whole entire city, okay, in anger. So you need to be very careful about who you tell things in, and it does not go well for him. It does not go well for him. So Joseph didn't grow up in a peaceful, godly home. He grew up in a household filled with favoritism, rivalry, sexual sin, deception, violence, and revenge. This, you guys, was not a polished family tree, okay? None of us have a polished family tree. Just dig enough and you're going to find some crazy in your line. It was generational dysfunction. That's the only way to call it. And yet, you guys, this is the family God chose to build a nation through. I would have thrown it almost all away. I would have thrown it all away. I would have said, burn it to the ground. Let's start all over. Probably not start all over. I'll probably just be like, you're done. But then Jesus wouldn't come. So then that's not fair because that's the whole beautiful part of it. Anyway, so a lot of people think my family's too messy, my past is too broken, my environment was is too chaotic. But look at Joseph's family. God doesn't wait for perfect families to start working. He works right in the middle of the mess. I'm going to leave that there and let you soak on that and think about that because I'm putting the description so that when I'm telling you Joseph's story, you understand that this family that saves a nation and saves eventually Jesus comes through, they don't have it together and they would not be the ones that I would pick to have the line of a holy God, righteous God, but God is better than I, thank goodness. And that should give you hope. And this, you guys, is the messy middle where I take a minute and tell you my thoughts about whatever I think about that day. Come along because it's a lot. I got a lot to say. Okay. Can we all just agree that we don't know everything? Okay. We are not God. We can't see everything. We're not all seeing, all knowing because we think we know the truth. And then we dig a little bit more. Then we dig a little more. And like, I don't even know anymore. Jesus, I don't know who is telling the truth. Who, and that's why we got to get back to the Bible because if you look at this world, you're not going to find truth because everybody's a mess. Everybody is in on it. Okay. Everybody is doing wrong. Everybody is fighting families, all that stuff. Okay. Ugh, I can't. So, what's driving you guys crazy right now? Is it the news? Is it the Epstein files? Is it just all the news stories over and over and over again are just too much? I had to get to a point where I just can't watch the news all the time because it's so divisive and it's one side and then another and then another and then another. And you're just like, which one do I follow? You follow Jesus, okay? Because he's not going to steer you wrong. And we're not surprised because you guys, people act a fool because they are a mess from the beginning, hence the stories that I'm sharing with you. They are not God. They don't know anything. You don't know the character of people at times. You don't know what they do on their own, behind the scenes. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of people pretending that they're on the better side because of whatever reason. I'm on the side of the truth. That's where I'm on the side of the truth. And then some people, well, this is the truth. And then Drasana, did you read this? And Drasana, did you read that? I don't know, boo. I think I do. I look at things and I have a perspective that I think I know things, but I don't know everything. I'm not Jesus. But I do know follow the money. Like I tell you, follow the money. And you know what? I want to hear something very interesting. I was having this conversation, and it's actually crazy that I shared the book in my Under the Noise. It was like The Water Keeper, and it's about uh trigger warning if it's about children and trafficking. So if you don't want to listen, just please pause or go fast forward. So the water keeper is about basically this man who goes and rescues children who have been trafficked, women who've been trafficked. It doesn't necessarily have to be just underage, but um he rescues them. And as you read it, you realize that it's this whole trafficking, it's from people who have all kinds of money. It's way high up in the government or high up in power. And it's because These people have so much money and everything at their fingertips that things don't excite them anymore. That it has to get to a point where you go to the most degrading, disgusting direction. Okay? And yet, God still died for these people. Think about that. Think about that for a second. I'm not saying that these people don't need to, they need to go to prison. We need to get them all in jail and lock them up for life, castrate them. Yes, I 100% agree with that. But if we're looking for justice on this side of heaven, we're not going to see it. We're just not. I had to learn that the hard way in many situations where things, y- you want to know something? Okay, so we had to go to court. I'm just going to give you a little bit for, I'm trying to make sure so I don't get sued, or defamation. So we had a situation where we had to go to court. I'm being very cautious of how I share this story because it's, anyway, and we believe we're in the right. Me and my husband, we know we're in the right. Actually, let me just say that. Talked to an attorney, and they looked at the case. They're like, 100%. You guys are, you're good. Of course, I was good because I organize everything because I am an administrative. That's how I do it, booze. That is my gift. I can put a party together. I can put a packet for the courts together. I can plan a wedding. I can do it all. Okay. So y'all, the not the therapist. I need my therapist. Rachel, seeing you on Friday. Um, the attorney was like, "Who did this paperwork?" I was like, "Me." She's like, "This is really good." So then how did I take it? I can be an attorney. I knew it. I knew I could be an attorney. I could be an attorney, FBI agent. But anyway, back to the story. So she was confident. And I asked the attorney this. I said, "Do you love what you do?" Or like, "What's the hardest part about being an attorney?" And she said, "Sometimes judges get it wrong." And boy, was she right in this situation. In the situation, we went to court. It did not go in our favor. And it just feels so wrong because it is. And there's nothing we can do about it. We can throw a fit. We can rant and rave, but it is what it is because we believe the judge got it wrong. Because justice is not going to be here. Vengeance is the Lord's. So you're going to see people who seem like they're getting away with stuff. I mean, you see it right now. What's going on? The Epstein files came out and nobody's arrested. Where are they? Why aren't they being arrested? I don't know. I am not in the government and I don't know everything. But they did catch a person for Benghazi. Thank you. After frickin' Hillary said, what does it matter now? Everything. That woman. I'm so angry about that. If you guys don't know what Benghazi is, look it up. It was a horrific murder of people, of Americans. There was a movie that John Krasinski did, and it was actually really good. Can't remember the name of it. But anyway, point being, if we look to the politicians or we look to the government to make it right, you're looking in the wrong place. I'll tell you that right now because there are so many injustices, and you see, you're like, I did everything right. And yet, why do the people that do it wrong are successful? You know who asked that? In Psalms, David asked the same thing, right? Why do these evil people get away with it? They don't get away with it. God's grace has an expiration date of your death. I'm not saying that he's going to ever stop giving you grace, but he's going to keep leaving that so you can make the choice to follow him. Like I've said before, God is so gracious and so loving, but he's also a just God. Very just. It may not seem like that, but he knows everything. I don't. Because I have some people that I need some Jesus. I think I need some justice. Can we just throw some some what it was it fire like you did in Sodom and Gomorrah. I got a couple houses I can point, I can give you the addresses, right? I bet you do too. But y'all, that's because my heart's not where it needs to be with these people. I'm not Jesus. God is working on me, and I know He's working on you. And thanks for being at the messy middle. So now that I've laid down the foundation of the next story, which is going to be Joseph, I want you to think about all of the stories that I've shared in the past about all of the brokenness, all of the hurt, all of the trauma. And yet, that was never the end of the story. And that is how everything points to God, to Jesus to come and redeem the whole thing because we couldn't redeem it ourselves, and how He is the hope of the world. This world is broken. And when you look to it to heal you or to fix you, you always come up empty handed. But when you bring your life in submission to the Lord, you will find hope everlasting. And it may not look like the way you think it should, but let Him make your life full of His love, His joy, and His peace. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to turn it to something I like to call Under the Noise. And it is a book recommendation that I like to share that I've read or I'm in the middle of reading, and to help you get out of the madness in the world and sometimes into a good book. It does not take away from you doing your own scripture reading or outsourcing your truth. It's just something to get in a good book in a cozy moment in time. And it is called A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers, who is one of my favorite authors. And it is set in the time during where there was the Colosseum, where people were fighting in the Colosseums, and it was pretty hard time during the Christians were being persecuted, and it's a historical fiction book, and it's very well done. It does have some violence, some content. It's not really for everyone, so double check if that's something that you're interested in. And like I say, never outsource the truth. Do not outsource the truth. That is your job to dig deeper. Okay? And until next time, stay curious, stay rooted in truth.